a shopping app nobody had heard of launched in September 2022. 18 months later, it had more American users than Amazon's mobile app. It ran Super Bowl ads. It became the most downloaded app in over 20 countries. And it's been accused of spying, forced labor, selling toxic products, and running a workplace so brutal that employees have literally died from overwork. This is the insane story of Temu, the app that promised you could shop like a billionaire. Spoiler alert, someone's paying the price, and it's not who you think. To understand Temu, you have to understand one man, Colin Huang. This guy grew up in a factory worker family in Hangzhou, China, but he was a genius. Got into Zhejiang University, interned at Microsoft, worked at Google in its early days, and even had dinner with Warren Buffett. In 2015, he launched Pinduoduo, a shopping platform that basically gamified buying stuff in China. You could get discounts by roping your friends into group purchases. It was addictive, it was cheap, and it exploded. By 2020, Pinduoduo had 800 million users and hit a $180 billion market cap. Colin Huang became the richest man in China, and he wasn't done. But here's where it gets spicy. In March 2023, Google actually suspended Pinduoduo from the Play Store. Why? Because security researchers found that some versions of the Pinduoduo app contained actual malware. We're talking about a top 5 Chinese app that could exploit phone vulnerabilities, spy on user activity, and access data it had no business accessing. CNN talked to security experts who said, and I quote, "I've never seen anything like this." And here's the kicker. After Pinduoduo disbanded the engineering team responsible for the malware, most of those engineers were transferred directly to Temu. September 2022. Temu launches in the United States. And nobody, and I mean nobody, saw this coming. Within 2 months, it was the most downloaded app in America. Not just shopping apps. The most downloaded app. Period. By February 2023, Temu dropped 2 Super Bowl ads. 2. At roughly $7 million each. For a company that had existed for 5 months. That's like showing up to the Olympics having started training last Tuesday, and somehow winning gold. So how is Temu so cheap? Like, how? A pair of earbuds for $2? Clothing for less than the cost of a coffee? Here's the trick. Temu cuts out every middleman imaginable. Chinese factories ship directly to your doorstep. No warehouses. No distributors. No retailers taking a cut. And they exploit a US trade loophole called the de minimis exception. Any package worth under $800 enters the country duty-free. No tariffs. No customs inspection. Temu floods America with billions of tiny cheap packages, and Uncle Sam doesn't collect a single dime. But cheap doesn't mean free. Someone is paying. And in June 2023, the U.S. House Select Committee dropped a report that basically said Temu's supply chains had an extremely high risk of forced labor contamination. We're talking about the Uyghur Forced Labor Prevention Act, the law that's supposed to prevent products made by enslaved people from entering the U.S. The committee said Temu didn't maintain even the facade of a meaningful compliance program. Over 20 state attorneys general demanded answers. Temu's response? Basically, we're working on it. Working on it. And then there's the product quality. Seoul authorities tested products from Temu and found toxic substances massively exceeding legal safety limits. Phthalates, formaldehyde, lead, in shoes, toys, and nail polish. Toy Industries of Europe tested 19 toys purchased from Temu. How many met EU safety regulations? 0. 0 out of 19. 18 of them posed significant risks to children. Choking hazards, strangulation risks, chemical exposure. And the Better Business Bureau gave Temu a C+ rating. Not exactly a ringing endorsement. But Temu kept growing. By January 2024, the app had over 51 million monthly active users in the US alone. By August 2024, Temu's user base was at 91% of Amazon's. Think about that for a second. A company that didn't exist 2 years earlier was almost matching the most dominant e-commerce platform in human history. And by December 2024, Temu.com was getting nearly 700 million monthly visits worldwide. It became the second most visited shopping website on the planet. They spent $15 million on Super Bowl ads in 2024 alone. This wasn't a startup anymore. This was a siege. Now let's talk about the war. Temu versus Shein. 2 Chinese ultra-fast fashion companies locked in the nastiest legal battle in e-commerce history. Shein accused Temu of hiring influencers to spread lies. Temu accused Shein of mafia-style intimidation, allegedly threatening, bullying, and even detaining factory suppliers who dared work with Temu. Shein forced 8,338 manufacturers to sign exclusive agreements. Temu sued, claiming monopoly. Shein countersued for copyright infringement. They dropped their cases, then sued each other again. This thing is heading to UK courts in 2026, and nobody knows who's going to win. And it gets darker. PDD Holdings, Temu's parent company, has been described as having a hyper-aggressive work culture. We're talking beyond China's infamous 996 schedule. That's 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week. PDD's employees reportedly work even longer. And the results have been tragic. Multiple employee deaths have made international headlines. Former workers describe being surveilled, crushed by non-compete penalties, and financially ruined if they try to leave for competitors. The Financial Times reported that PDD submitted video recordings of ex-employees going to rival companies as court evidence. They were watching them. Despite all of this, PDD Holdings runs one of the most efficient companies on earth. 34% operating margins. Only 17,000 employees running a platform that handles hundreds of millions of users. For comparison, Alibaba's operating margin is 15%. JD.com's is 3%. PDD does more with less than practically anyone in tech. Colin Huang became the richest person in China, and then lost the title just 20 days later when PDD's stock crashed after missing earnings estimates. The company wiped out $55 billion in market value in a single quarter. Easy come, easy go. The data privacy situation is an absolute nightmare. Arkansas sued Temu for malware. Nebraska accused them of siphoning user data. Arizona sued for data theft and selling counterfeit goods. South Korea launched an investigation. The EU designated Temu as a very large online platform under the Digital Services Act and opened a formal investigation. And in December 2025, EU watchdogs literally raided Temu's Dublin headquarters as part of a foreign subsidy investigation. Police at the headquarters. This isn't normal e-commerce drama. In July 2025, the European Commission stated that Temu was breaking EU rules by failing to prevent the sale of illegal products. Not might be breaking, is breaking. Banned sellers were reappearing on the platform. Counterfeit goods kept flowing. And the app's design was flagged for being intentionally addictive. The UK's Advertising Standards Authority banned Temu ads for sexualizing a child and objectifying women. Temu disputed most of it. The regulators didn't care. And then Trump pulled the rug out. In May 2025, as part of his sweeping tariff policy, Trump closed the de minimis exception that Temu's entire business model was built on. Remember, that was the loophole letting billions of cheap Chinese packages enter the US tax-free. Without it, every single product suddenly got more expensive. Temu's response was dramatic. They announced they would completely stop selling goods from China directly to US customers. American orders would only be fulfilled by local sellers with US-based inventory. The company that conquered America by shipping from Chinese factories was being forced to become an American marketplace. Indonesia asked Apple and Google to block Temu entirely to protect local businesses. Vietnam suspended the platform. India never even let them in. They'd already banned TikTok and weren't about to let another Chinese super app through the door. Montana banned Temu on all government devices. Texas followed. Countries around the world were building walls, and Temu was running out of loopholes. But here's what's wild. Despite everything, the lawsuits, the raids, the tariffs, the bans, Temu is still growing. As of early 2025, they operate in over 90 countries. They launched a local seller program that's active in the US, UK, France, Japan, Mexico, Australia, and dozens more. They joined the International Trademark Association. They partnered with anti-counterfeiting groups. It's like watching a company try to build legitimacy while the entire world is trying to burn it down. And somehow, they're still standing. So let's zoom out. What Temu really represents is the brutal efficiency of Chinese e-commerce transplanted into Western markets. They cut out every middleman. They exploit every trade loophole. They run their employees into the ground. They move faster than regulators can regulate. And they give consumers exactly what consumers claim they don't want but keep buying anyway. Dirt cheap products from halfway around the world, delivered to your door in a week. Amazon saw the threat and launched their own cheap Chinese import marketplace called Haul. That's how you know it's serious, when Amazon copies you. But there's a real cost to all this convenience. Workers in factories making products at margins so thin they might use forced labor. Engineers at PDD working hours that literally kill people. Consumers buying products that contain toxic chemicals at levels that should be illegal. And millions of Americans handing their personal data to a company whose sister app was caught distributing malware. That $2 pair of earbuds. It's not really $2. You're paying with your data, your safety, and someone else's freedom. The question nobody can answer is, does Temu survive? The tariffs are killing their original model. Regulators are closing in from every direction. The EU could fine them billions. The US lawsuits keep stacking up. But they also have nearly 1 billion users, a parent company worth over 100 billion, and the ability to pivot faster than any Western company can regulate. They've already reinvented themselves once, from Chinese direct shipping to local marketplace. They could do it again, and again, and again. From zero to the second most visited shopping website on Earth in 2 years. From a Super Bowl ad to a Supreme Court conversation. Temu didn't just disrupt e-commerce. It exposed every weakness in the global trade system. The loopholes, the lack of safety enforcement, the addiction to cheap goods at any cost. Whether Temu thrives or crashes, the world it created isn't going back to normal. The race to the bottom has started, and we're all along for the ride. If this story shocked you, hit subscribe. The next one's even crazier. I'll see you there.